again. So for today's video, we are doing a voiceover at what would be my last run of last year's season at Morven Park Horse Trials with Sly Fox, and this was the preliminary. This was his second one, and probably one of our toughest tracks that we had run personally. I had gotten some good response on my last Instagram post as to whether you guys would be interested in doing this, and I got some good response, so here we go. So I am obviously walking to the start box here, and typically I like to keep the horses nice and in a nice relaxed walk, mostly if they've got a good response. Sometimes with the babies I'll trot in or whatever. That's what I used to do with Tigger, but was at that point more experienced. And I tend to just go when they say 3, 2, 1. I tend to head into the start box and just ask straight away for the canter and get going. So here we are, off we go. First fence for me is always a good indicator on how the horse is, where they're at mentally. And you are on course, so nerves sometimes kick in for me. And I always, after that first kind of indicating initial jump, I take the pace and rhythm and analyze it. If they're too slow, I give them maybe a little tap behind. If they're a little too fast, then I try and steady them up and set them up for their best run. The first few fences were really inviting, just really took the shape of the horse, and he jumped them very nicely. I was very pleased out of stride, and while I wasn't going for time, I was planning to, keep him forward so that we wouldn't have too much time and we would get used to running at that speed. Now coming up now is a corner to a skinny. He jumps in a little bigger than I would have liked and ends up shifting slightly left, but he responds very well to my leg and staying within the line. And so, just would have kept that in mind for future training for him to help me out in the future. And he did a nice jump over that table. This is the first water complex, one of 3. He actually, because of his greenness, I believe, he didn't realize there was water, so he peeks over it, and I think we just land a little unorganized, and luckily we have our leg in hand there because we were angling the skinny, and he was very good to jump it. I was very pleased with him. Just a nice kind of easy fence there, number 7, just to get things back together and organized. And this was a really fun jump. Just a nice hedge and could take it out of stride. So yeah, very pleased with this first half. He was responding to everything. I felt like everything was forward, and while there were some things to work on, he was answering everything very well. This was a bounce bank to skinny, and I was very pleased with it. I was slightly worried, to be honest, when I walked it. Not worried, but concerned. I had never thought he had really specifically trained it, but he was very good and just took it all in his own stride, so I was very pleased. Again, the last fence I had just jumped, and this one out of stride, just getting those nice, lovely jumps over it. This next combination was just kind of into a skinny over, I believe it was a ditch, and he was, again, very good through the complex, and we have some tougher questions coming up, so this was all good information and feedback for me as to whether he would respond well to what was coming up, or if I needed to give a little more help and aid to him. This was quite a big box coming up, and it goes to a right-hand turn to an angle And he jumps it big. You can see he slightly runs, but we get it back together quick enough. And I give him, unfortunately, I did not have the sound on for this because I couldn't really hear my own voiceover. But I do give him a lot of praise. I like to praise my horses verbally as well as patting. And so, yeah, I gave him a lot of praise for responding well. Over the Trakehner, he was pretty good. A little peaky as well. Just, I think, something that would just jump better with more time and confidence. And this was really sweet. The first kind of table wagon, you see them bigger in the intermediate and the advanced, but for the preliminary, again, I think it was really well placed for any younger or greener horses at this level. So I really enjoyed it. And he's so up for it here. I love this. Our second water combination. He jumps in a little bigger than I would have wanted, so really had to hang in there. But very eager for it, and I was really pleased. Nothing bad on his part at all. And straight from one water complex to another, this was sort of a little skinny house. And in this water, although we were balanced at the beginning, I think he must have misstepped in the water. He ends up, you see him there, almost going down a little bit. So he does really well to recover, get organized in the trot, and then last 2 strides of canter and pop over that. It was very good, very quick and smart on his feet, and that's what I was wanting from him. Very, very pleased with that. And we're coming to the end now. Some nice, ending fences that are very welcoming. I was so pleased with him. You can see how his brain, and you can watch his ears. He's always flicking on to make sure he's tuning into what I'm saying. And very pleased with the training I had put in with the help of many people, including Lucinda Green and Steffi Bayer, to get him to be thinking, which helped us in several situations throughout the course, that resulted in us having a clear round. So again, was super pleased with this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you soon.